Hey guys, this is Bailey Yeager. Here's my little video, and can you guess what drug they were on?
I can't feel my arms. Do I still have arms?
Yes.
I want my mum. Just so beautiful. Look at its patterns. Its form. Ooh. Should probably have some water. Oh. Oops. Okay, but it's not like that. Okay, it's kind of funny. Yeah. I ranch. Are you gonna be okay? Okay. They only had blue cheese, which is insane. Oh my god.
So, could you guess what drug they were on? They were on marijuana. Pot brownies, to be specific, if you watch the whole video. So, the common name is marijuana. Scientific name is cannabis sativa. Nicknames/street names for marijuana are grass, hashish, joint, Mary Jane, pot, reefer, weed, dope, ganja, dabs, and bud. Physical description of marijuana: you have the marijuana flower, which is the most common form. The dried leaves and flower buds of the cannabis plant is what is used to be smoked in a joint or bong. The stems and leaves can be green, and they can also be keefy. Keefy just means that there's like a layer of almost like sand-like grains of marijuana sitting on the marijuana flower. Hashish is the dried plant resin that is usually mixed with tobacco and is smoked or added to foods and baked into things such as cookies and brownies. Hash oil is liquid that is used sparingly due to its high potency and added to the tip of a joint or cigarette and smoked. Concentrates are extracts like dabs, wax, or shatter, typically used in using butane hash oil as a solvent, and it's often vaporized in small quantities due to high THC content. Question number 1 and question number 2. Question number 1. What is not a street name for marijuana? A. Grass. B. Mary Jane. C. Pot. Or D. Smokes. Question number 2. What is not a form of marijuana that it is marketed? A. Marijuana flower. B. Hash oil. C. Hashish, sorry if I mispronounced that. And D. Injections of THC. I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. The answers are D. Smokes and D. Injections of THC. Sorry about that. My Mac just restarted. Legal or illegal? Marijuana has been illegal in the United States since 1937 when Congress prohibited its use for recreational, industrial, and therapeutic purposes with the Marijuana Act of 1937. Under the Controlled Substance Act of 1970, the drug and all of its cannabinoid forms were classified as Schedule I substances belonging to the same class as heroin. Cocaine, by contrast, is a Schedule II drug. Recreational marijuana was approved through citizen initiative in 9 states: Washington and Colorado in 2012, Oregon and Alaska in 2014, California, Nevada, Maine, and Massachusetts in 2016, and Michigan in 2018. Recreational marijuana use was also approved in the District of Columbia in 2014, and Vermont was the first state to legalize recreational marijuana through the Act of Legislature on January 22, 2018. Illinois followed them and was the second state to do that on June 25, 2019. This is just a map that shows which states have legal medical marijuana use and legal recreational marijuana use. The states that are in light green are states with legal medical marijuana use, and the states with the darker green are states with legal medical and recreational marijuana use. And the states that are in gray are states that have no legal marijuana use, medicinal or recreational. Question number 3. In what year was marijuana prohibited by Congress? A. 1934, B. 1936, C. 1937, or D. 1939? And I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. All right. The answer is C. 1937. Origin and history of marijuana. Marijuana started off as a plant that people in ancient cultures used as herbal medicine in Asia around 500 BC. Colonists in early America grew hemp for textiles and rope. Marijuana was originally in Central Asia before it was introduced to Africa, Europe, and then the Americas. It was originally used to make clothes, paper, sails, and rope. Some say that some people in ancient cultures knew about the psychoactive effects of the plant. In the 1800s, it was used for medicinal purposes like settling an upset stomach. At some point in Greek history, there was someone named Herodotus, I'm sorry if I butchered that, and he said that there were people who were inhaling the smoke from the burning cannabis seeds and flowers and they would get high. And this was the first reported incident that marijuana was used recreationally for the psychoactive effects of the THC. Main reasons for consumption: one, as medicine; two, for the effects of the THC, the psychoactive chemical; three, to relieve stress, anxiety, fear, pain, or anger related to personal, psychological, or family issues; four, low perception of harm; five, the opportunity to try marijuana presents itself; six, peer family or role model influence; seven, people use marijuana because they were born with or develop certain personality dimensions such as unconventionality, which make marijuana use non-taboo. 8, curiosity, and 9, to relax. Questions number 4 and number 5. Number 4. In early America, what did the colonists grow hemp for? A. Getting high. B. Medical purposes. C. Textiles and rope. Or D. Paper. And number 5. What is not a reason why people use marijuana? A. As medicine. B. For the effects of the THC. C. Curiosity. Or D. Because it's illegal. And I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. All right. Answers are C. Textiles and rope, and D. Because it's illegal. Common ways in which people have access to marijuana. One of the ways is on the streets illegally through a dealer. So if the state that you live in does not have legal use for marijuana or medicinal use, most of the time people will go through dealers on the streets to get it illegally. If you're in a place where marijuana is legal for medical use, the user will have to go through a series of doctor's appointments to have a medical marijuana card given to them. Once the medical marijuana card is given to the patients can go to dispensaries where the marijuana is manufactured and sold. And if you're in a state where marijuana is legal for recreational use, it's the same thing as medical marijuana. It's similar to the medical marijuana process, but for recreational marijuana use, you can just go to a dispensary if you're over 21 and pick up what you are purchasing. This right here shows these are two graphs that show the frequency of use and the rate of cannabis use among adults and among high school students. So the left graph shows the percentage of 9th through 12th graders who have used marijuana according to the frequency of every month and gender. So the first one compares males and females between 0 times a month, 1 or 2 times a month, 3 to 39 times a month, or 40 times or more. And then the right graph shows the rate of cannabis use among adults in the US, and this was in January 2017. And as you can see, 12% use it daily, 11% use it weekly, 10% use it monthly, 6% use it yearly, 11% use it less than once a year, and 50% use it almost never. Financial negative impact for society. There is no negative impact on marijuana for society when it's legalized. In the states where it's not legal, it could cause financial deficit due to the incarcerations due to possession of paraphernalia or marijuana. So instead of having states where it's legal, where you don't have to deal with putting people away for having a bong or having marijuana on them, instead it's just a $25 fine, which actually helps the society more because it's giving that law enforcement group that money and it's going into something else. Questions number 6 and number 7. Number 6. What is not a common way in which people have access to marijuana? A. On the streets. B. Dispensary if legal. C. At a grocery store. D, getting a medical card for medicinal purposes. And number 7, true or false? There is no negative impact from marijuana on society if it is legalized. And I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. The answers are C, at the grocery store, and true. Estimated profits. Based on current standings, tax revenue from marijuana will increase by $1.9 billion US from 2017 to 2020. There's approximately 422,000 new jobs made available by the legalization of marijuana. And there is over 198,195 direct employment from marijuana. $1.8 billion US is the taxable retail sale of medical marijuana and adult use of marijuana. Based off the sales from 2014-2016 sales, they can reach up to $8.7 billion US by 2021. $101.55 million US in sales revenue of recreational marijuana in Colorado 2017, and $125.65 million US sales revenue in Washington of 2017. Current costs and current cost trends of marijuana. The total sum of legal weed sales in 2016 was $6.56 billion US. By 2025, the total sales predicted of legal marijuana in the US is projected to be around $24.07 billion US. $4.1 billion US is spent by the Americans to consume marijuana. $600.7 is the price of an ounce in DC. 8,438 pounds of marijuana is consumed in Washington in 2017. The graph to the left shows the monthly sales of revenue of marijuana in Washington, and it just shows in millions of US dollars. So from the start of May 2016, where they made $80.6 million, to July 2017, which is it's a full year and 2 months later, they made $105.71 million. The tax revenue from medical and adult use of cannabis in 2017-2020 is the graph that it shows on the right. The green line that goes up is the cannabis retail taxes, and the blue is the sales taxes. So in 2017, $0.61 billion was made in cannabis retail taxes, and for state sales tax, it's $0.14 billion US. And then in 2020, for cannabis retail taxes, it's $1.8 billion, and for the state sales tax, it's $0.47 billion. This is just a picture of the average cost of marijuana. It goes by ounce of high quality marijuana, ounce of a medium quality marijuana, a high quality joint, and the medium quality joint. And for this purposes, since we go to school in Virginia, the Virginia cost of an ounce that is high quality is $365. For an ounce of a medium quality, it's $311. For a joint that is high quality marijuana, it's $8.47. And for a medium quality joint, it would be $7.25. Questions number 8 and questions number 9. Question number 8. Approximately how many new jobs are made available through the legalization of marijuana? A. 283,422. B. 284,322. C. 282,433. D. 283,344. And number 9, how much US dollars do Americans spend to consume marijuana? A. 4.3 million. B. 4.3 billion. C. 4.1 billion. Or D. 4.1 million. And I'll give you a few seconds to answer those. All right, and the answers are A. 283,422 and C. 4.1 billion. Ways in which marijuana is administered in the body. The first way is inhalation, which is the fastest method of getting high, which is done in two ways, which is one, smoking, which involves burning the flowers and inhaling the smoke, and two, vaporizing, which works in the same way as smoking, but instead of burning the plant, it is heated to the appropriate temperature to activate the THC in the plant to get the psychoactive effects. Another way that marijuana is administered in the body is orally. Marijuana can be ingested orally. Oral ingestion is slower, and the effects are stronger and last longer than inhalation. Some examples include edibles, tinctures, which is a liquid form, capsules, and oils. Another way is sublingual, which is through the bloodstream when placed under the tongue and held in the mouth. The mouth has many small blood vessels which can absorb the psychoactive ingredients, and it's many times seen in the form of a spray. Another way is topical. It comes in the forms of lotions, salves, bath salts, and oils that are applied to the skin. The only thing about these is that there's no psychoactive effects taking place, but it does help with localized pain. Question number 10. What is not a way in which marijuana can be administered in the body? A. Topical, B. Inhalation, C. Oral, or D. Injection? The answer is D. Injection. Physiological effects of marijuana on the mind. Marijuana aims at the pleasure centers of the brain, similar to hardcore drugs like heroin and cocaine. The person who consumes marijuana can create a feeling of euphoria or the high. The strength of this feeling depends on the quality of the marijuana, the quantity consumed, and the method of consumption. Once the marijuana has been consumed, the brain cells release the chemical dopamine, which can help create the effects of the euphoric high. Many people report of having a relaxing feeling. Others have heightened sense of sensory perception. For some, colors are brighter and noises are louder. In many cases, marijuana can cause the body to have an increased appetite, which is known as the munchies. And sometimes the effects of THC can result in elation, anxiety, tachycardia, short-term memory recall issues, sedation, relaxation, and pain relief. Physiological effects of marijuana on the body. It can cause many of the same respiratory problems that smokers of tobacco have, including a daily cough and phlegm production. Sometimes chronic chest illnesses like bronchitis can raise the heart rate by 20% to 100% after smoking and can last up to 3 hours after. It can reduce sperm production in men and disrupt women's menstrual cycles. And about 30% of users have a marijuana use disorder and have shown that when heavy marijuana users try to quit, they experience cravings, irritability, sleeplessness, and decreased appetite and anxiety. Short-term and long-term effects on a person's health. Short-term effects include temporary memory loss, lack of coordination, altered perception of time, changes in mood, and difficulties thinking or problem solving. The long-term effects include adverse effects on memory and learning, cognitive impairments if you were exposed to and experienced marijuana at a young age, respiratory issues, and it may cause learning and problem-solving difficulties in children born to mothers who smoke during pregnancy, and it has been associated with depression and anxiety and may even worsen symptoms in those with schizophrenia. Positive and negative effects for families. Positive, if used for medical purposes, then it could have positive effects for the person using it. Negative, financially, the amount of money spent on marijuana can be significant. Money could be used for things in the family like paying bills or getting groceries. If you work at a place where it is against the rules to use marijuana, you could get drug tested, where you could get terminated, and then there's no income. Mentally, you're not in touch with emotions while spending time with family members, which makes it difficult to remember events that have happened. The feelings of tiredness that comes with smoking, so always being sleepy or becoming detached from their environments, which creates poor relationships with family members. Positive and negative effects for the community and society. Positive, employment opportunities from the manufacturers and distributors of marijuana. So there's employment opportunities for people in the community and society. The state tax money coming in from the taxes placed on marijuana in states that it's legal will help the community. Negative, decreased motivation has been associated with marijuana, so it could have a negative effect on a person's work performance or the increased absences from work. Consequences if overdose. An overdose on marijuana is very unlikely. Although it is unlikely, it doesn't mean that it's completely harmless. Overuse of marijuana is likely And the signs include extreme confusion, anxiety, paranoia, panic, increased heart rate, delusions or hallucinations, increased blood pressure, and severe nausea and vomiting. Recovery options are there's four: inpatient treatment, which is the individual participates in absence from all drugs, and you have to stay in a fixed length stay where they have to go to required educational talks about addiction and drugs. Um, Outpatient treatment, it's important to have a supportive environment that you are in during this time, and you have to have the skills to be able to cope with the addiction. Most of the time during this time, the person goes to treatment and therapy similar to inpatient, so they're not staying somewhere. They're pretty much like at home, but they are required to like not required, but like they most of the time go to therapy or treatments that are similar to inpatient that don't require them to be in a place where they have to do it, considering it's called outpatient treatment. Duh. Luxury treatments, most of the time these include private suites or living quarters, good food prepared by chefs, and a luxury environment that allows you to relax. They also offer some alternative treatments, which include acupuncture, acupressure, meditation, yoga, art therapy, music therapy, drumming, and massages. As you can tell by the description, this is a pretty pricey option for treatment. Most of the time, these are a little bit more high-end treatment options. But they have everything that an inpatient treatment would provide, just better amenities. And executive treatments are meant for executive clients who are running their businesses that are required to run their businesses while recovering from the addiction. So these treatments are meant for people that are high up, that are like CEOs of businesses that have an addiction that need to be in treatment while still running their business. So this allows them to do that. And some last minute random facts that I found: over 122 million people in the US have tried marijuana. 30 to 49-year-olds are responsible for 51% of marijuana consumption. 86% of US adults agree that marijuana has medical uses, and 79.7% of seniors in high school said it's very easy to get marijuana. And here are my resources. Thank you.